Hey guys! So in this video, I'm going to show you 25 ways to use the yearly calendar in the Hobonichi Cousin. I organized the 25 ways into 7 different categories: relationships, work, household maintenance, entertainment, mental and physical health, personal, and holidays. The timestamps for each idea is in the description box below. So please feel free to skip ahead if you think that a specific idea is not suitable or useful for you. So this is what the yearly calendar looks like. Basically, I photocopied it and then I populated the photocopies with my ideas. Now I'm also going to provide a link in the description box below so you can download photos of the photocopies that I am using in this video for your reference. So let's get started. So the first category is relationships. On the yearly calendar, you can mark out important dates such as birthdays and anniversaries, and you circle or highlight the date and then write a short description below the month. You can also have a contact log. As I grow older, I realize that if I don't make the time to contact important people in my life, I'll lose contact with them eventually. So I think a contact log would be helpful to record when you last spoke to important people in your life. Now, if you are in a long-term relationship, you can also have a date log. What I've heard is that as time goes by, sometimes the romance fizzles out in the romantic relationship, especially when you have children or when you have a ton of work to do. So it's important to schedule date nights or specific times where you just hang out with your significant other, or just, to try to keep the flame alive, if you will. So this is where the date log will be helpful. Finally, you can log some big events for the family. I kind of don't recommend this because you have very little space here to write anything, but then if you need, you can record big events. So for example, my son Joe is in camp at this time. My daughter Lisa is away for a hockey tournament from this date to this date, things like that. But like I said, if you have too many events, you might find yourself running out of space here. So the second category is work. So you could block out busy work periods so you know not to overcommit yourself to additional projects. So maybe somebody is asking you to bake like 100 packets of cookies for your church bake sale, but you know that this period you're going to be really busy, so you can say no and say that you are really busy with work at this time. Now, if you have a part-time job, you might record the days that you are working. You might also record or mark down the important work dates. So for example, conference submission deadlines, conference days, things like that. Alternatively, if you're an athlete, you might want to use the space to record important competition dates, or if you're a student, to record examination dates. Now, even if you use digital tools such as Google Calendar, like Outlook and things like that, you might also want to have a physical copy where you could refer to more easily of the days when your colleagues take leave. So for example, your boss might be on leave from this day to this day, and then maybe your staff is on leave from this day to this day. And it would be nice to have a visual overview of when your boss, your colleagues take leave, so that you can do this future planning or forward planning. This is going to be quite useful for that purpose. So now we come to the next category, which is household maintenance. So you can mark bill payment dates, or you could mark infrequent household chores such as sharpening the knife, cleaning the windows, sending the car for maintenance, things like that. Then the next category is entertainment. You could mark down release dates. So if there is a movie you're particularly interested to watch, you could mark down that release date here, or if there's a book that you've been waiting for, the third in a trilogy or something like that, and it's launching this week, you might also want to record that somewhere here. You could also have a shipping tracker. So for example, on this day, the Hobonichi is shipped. This day, Hobonichi has been received. This is the amount of time that you would expect to have to wait if you put in another Hobonichi order. So this would be helpful for you to do this kind of estimation. Now, the next category, the fifth category, is what I call the health category. So both physical and mental health category. So you could put in your doctor or dentist appointments for yourself, your children, or your pets. You could also include like hair appointments, so infrequent appointments, basically. You could use this space for that. You could also use this space for health record for both temporary and chronic illness. So let's say I fell ill with flu from this time to this day to this day. I could record that here. Alternatively, if let's say I am diabetic and I take my blood sugar level every day, and then I could use the space to mark out days that my blood sugar level is above the optimal level, and then I can write the specific glucose level here. Alternatively, if I have high blood pressure, I might measure my blood pressure every day and also do the same, record days on which I have exceeded the optimal level, and then write the blood pressure here. Now, this idea is called a mood log. It's called the year in pixels. So if you Google, you should be able to see quite a number of examples of this year in pixels. So basically, the idea here is that you have 365 grid squares, and then you assign a color to a specific emotion. So in this case, I have yellow for happiness, orange for anxiety, pink for loved, and green for calm. And then every day, at the end of the day, I kind of like evaluate my day. Did my day go well? Was I generally happy? So if I felt generally happy during that day, I would then color yellow in that grid, which is for that day. And I actually wanted to do it, but then I got really lazy because there are so many grids to draw. So I figured that there is an alternative to that, and is to use this yearly calendar. And as you can see, every day I color my general emotion for that day, and then at the end of the day, I imagine that this would look quite colorful. Yeah. So you could track your mood this way. In line with mental health, you could also have this mental health log. So some people who have anxiety issues, they might find this useful. So you could basically record the days that you feel anxious, and then write down a couple of lines or a couple of phrases about what the anxiety triggers were. Of course, this only works if you write kind of small. So this might not be particularly suitable for this purpose. But if you need this, this is where you could write that. For people, for women especially, you might want to use the space to track your periods or fertility days. So let's say you are trying to conceive, and this would be one of the places where you could estimate your most fertile day. So on the day, let's say you have the 28 day cycle, on this day you have your period, and then these 3 days are the days when you would be most fertile. You could also have an exercise log. So the key would be kind of something like that. So triangle will be for arms, square will be for legs, circle will be for cardio, and then you basically track your exercise log that way. The next category is personal. So you could track one habit throughout the year. using this yearly calendar. So if you did that habit, you will put a cross. If you didn't do the habit, you will just leave it blank. So habits will include things like flossing, no spending, eating clean, no junk food, things like that. So you might want to record that here. You might also want to set a goal or a specific focus for each month and then write the focus up here. So for example, this month I think that I need to connect with friends and that's my goal for that month. I might write it here so that it is obvious to me or it is kept in the front of my mind. You might want to use the space to schedule time or to block out time for important projects. So I've said forever that I want to start learning R and multi-level modeling. So R is a statistical tool, and multi-level modeling is a particular kind of analysis. And I've said forever that I'm going to do it, but I never actually carve out the time to do it. So I figured that this is one of the places where I could tell myself, look, this day, I'm supposed to carve time out for R, this day for multi-level modeling, so please do it. Something like that. So you could schedule time for important projects that you keep procrastinating or delaying and things like that. The final category is a holiday category. So you could, as you know, this Hobonichi is a Japanese planner, so the dates, the public holidays listed here are all Japanese public holidays, so you don't actually get your country holidays there. So you might want to block out or mark out the public holidays and the school holidays if that applies to you. You could use this as a vacation tracker. So maybe from this day to this day, I went off to Spain. So I might highlight this space, these two lines, and say, oh, okay, I was in Spain here. Then I don't recommend this, but then you might write very small. This is an overview for holiday planning. So let's say in December, you are holding a Christmas party. And you block out days that you are supposed to do specific tasks. So maybe this day you are supposed to wrap, these days you're supposed to wrap gifts, these days you're supposed to clean the house, these days you're supposed to purchase the food, and this day you are supposed to cook and receive guests. So you could use this space for holiday planning, but it's very, very tiny. So I don't think this is very suitable for that purpose. But again, if you write small, this would be helpful or a way that you can use the yearly calendar. And finally, you could use this space on top to write the word of the year. So every year, I set a word of the year, and this year's word is create. I wanted to create meaning or create value, not meaning, but create value in other people's lives. So my word of the year is create. I try to keep this in mind whenever I do things. So I would ask myself, is this in line with what I said I wanted to do at the beginning of the year? So I think that this would be a nice place for you to write your word of the year. I've seen other people use things like focus, I can't remember the others, but like focus, saying yes, and things like that. So you could use this space for the word of the year. All right. So those are the 25 ways you can use your yearly calendar. If I've missed out on anything, please let me know in the comments section below. If you like my content, please subscribe. I also upload posts onto my Instagram account every, I guess, a couple of days. And there I talk about productivity, learning techniques, my views on teaching, and things like that. So if those are topics that are interesting for you, please follow my Instagram account. The link is below. As usual, thank you very much for watching. I hope this has been helpful to you. Take care and bye-bye.